I know, guys, y'all looking at the title and you're wondering if it's clickbait. No, it's not clickbaited. This is something that I would take very seriously if you are using any of the modern day MPCs right now. I also think it's very good to know this technique because many of your favorite beat makers, legendary music producers use this technique when they are sampling, and they don't go into the menu to sample edit or to chop up the sample or whatever the case may be. They just simply do this technique, and I think it is a very good technique that will help you down the lines of the future, in the near future that is, and I can't go into detail, but I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. Though I'm using the MPC XL, this technique can work on all of the modern day MPCs, but they work the best on the XL and the MPC Live 3 because of the specs. Let's take a closer look at the MPC, because the first thing we're gonna do is go to a new project, and then from there, we can just pull up something from the browser. So let's take a look at the browser here. And the next thing we're gonna do from there is simply go into our expansions. If you don't have this expansion on your MPC Live 3 or your MPC XL, then you don't necessarily need to do it. But what I normally do is just go into Titanium. Titanium does come with the MPC XL and the MPC Live 3, so don't worry about that. Everybody else, you can just use whatever expansion that you want. I just use Snipe Young because he does a great job of bringing stuff over. If you're wondering if you have Titanium, well, it is Snipe Charlotte. I believe that's Snipe Charlotte. So I'm gonna go down and then I'll choose load. I'll just hit the button. Well, matter of fact, I'll just hit it on the screen so you know I'm loading it in. Now I'll go to places over here, and this is where I'll probably have a link in the description box so you can download the sample that I'm going to pick. I'm going to simply navigate. The sample that I'm using will come from an AI music generator site called Sampler, and I'll have it linked in the description box as well as the sample that I used in this video. To get a general idea of how the sample sounds like, I'm going to play it real quick. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. I know it might be a little muffled. All right, you should be able to hear it. Now that we heard the sample, we like the sample, we'll load it in the pool. We won't load it into a pad. Now we're going to track edit because we already know what we're going to deal with here. And from here, just hit a pad. So initially, when you hit the pad or whatnot, everything will still be the original from the expansion or whatnot. And the reason why I choose the expansion is because the expansion already has been mixed and stuff like that, and you got to worry about too much. But from here, we'll just add in a sample. You don't necessarily have to go into browse and then go into sample assign, but you can. There's a few things you can do from the screen, but you don't necessarily have to do that. Since we have the sample right here, we can just drag it into hit there. Not many people know that you can drag and drop on the MPC, but you can. And you can just hit track edit and go back. The other way that you can select the sample from the sample pool is by clicking on this right here. So you're clicking on the thing that says sample. You can also trash the sample too if you don't want to, but you can just rotate your jog wheel and then select whatever sample that you need, as you can see. But here's the other thing that you will do when you want to do some chops or whatnot. You want to go into global and you want to make sure that you assign it to a group. So it does not have its own mute group, and that's important because when we play the sample, if we was to go a little further, you will need a mute group. So what we'll do is we'll set it up in mute group 3, or matter of fact 4, because I don't know what other mute groups exist on this drum program. So I'll just use mute group 4. It's already a mono, so you want your sample to play monoly. And yes, as you can hear, it is already time stretched. So that's the one thing that is the advantage of what I'm teaching you, is that it already is time stretched. And from here, you can simply just go right back into sample. So we'll go into samples there. And this is where things get unique, because on your MPC, you need to make sure that you locate the copy button. So locate the copy button on your MPC. All the modern day discontinued MPCs have a copy button, and the new MPCs have their own copy button. Once you hit the copy button, this screen will pull up, and then it will look very unfamiliar to you if you haven't used it before. You need to tap on the screen right here. We're on A1. And now we'll press this, and it'll play whatever is on that pad if there's something on that pad. And the cool thing about that is once we hit do it, the pads will, and I will just have to go on the main screen, they will remain the same color, okay? So if you're one of those people that want to be color organized, then that's one of the things that you have to do. So we'll go back into track edit here, and you can see that they're chopping each other off. So the main thing that I want to show you is that it keeps everything that is in your global. So when you copy and paste something over, you're pasting over the attributes. So that's an important thing. And I'll do that to all the other pads. So now that we have copied over all the pads with the sample on it, you can see that everything is good and chopped off, and you ain't got to worry about, setting up mute groups for every individual one. Now you can focus on chopping the sample wherever you want. And the best advice that I can give anybody when you are chopping your sample, you want to make sure that it starts off at the 1. So for instance here, we have this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust it. You can adjust it on the screen right here. And you can also pull and pinch so you can get the idea of where you want to start off your chops. So I know the one for this sample right here, or this chop, will be right here. And I'm only doing it by touchscreen just so you can get a good, clear visual of what's going on. And then I have everything going. What I'll end up doing here is using some of the features on this particular MPC. So you have this zoom that's over here on this Q link, and then I can go and get a better look at everything. So I know I messed up right there. So I need to get it on the 1, which probably is like right around in here. Finish that. And I'll just do something simple. I'll make sure that I will adjust the sequence BPM, which you can do right on this Q link right here. You just have to be on the main screen. Sometimes it will stick along with it. That has more to do with this particular area when it comes to chopping, but I'm not worried about that right now. What I'm gonna do is just show you. So now we have this chop automatically time warped and all that, and it's good to go. So this chop right here, I need to go ahead and get the 1 on that. Now, what I'll do in this sense, so that you guys have a firmer understanding, is that I'll use the start point right here and adjust it. Now, in this instance, I want you to understand that you can move in smaller increments right over here where it says start. And this is for the XL heads. But on any of the other MPCs, you will have to use the Q-Link button, and then you'll be able to get access to those features. I will stretch it out a little bit more, and I won't do that with the endpoint because the endpoint it will take too long. If I was to demonstrate that, look how slow it is. It's just faster to do it with your hand in this regard. So that's why I choose to do this technique like that. But now that I have the 1, let's go ahead and for this chop, it's important to have fun with your stuff while you're going. This ain't supposed to be a chore. Now that we have a firm understanding of where we're going with it, I want to introduce you to counting bars so that you know what a 1 is. So 1 means that that's the very beginning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. And you see it cuts off real quick. So we'll make that adjustment. Do it visually where you can see it. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. And now you see it cuts off a little too early. What we'll do is just drag it on over. Now we'll use the endpoints to get the increment right until we see it. And you can see a little transients here, and that's good. When a lot of people ask me why you use samples that have drums in it, well, dude, the drums I'm gonna put on there, it will be aggressive, and also it meshes well with the sample. So now I will find another chop in this sample, I'll just simply just go through the different parts and just mess with the start point. So you just keep on going until you search, and if you have to, just drag it on over. And I think I like that string section. So I just zoom in so I can get control over it. And then boom. Here's another reason why I think this technique is just superior to the others. Again, you can copy and paste that chop that you like. And if you want to go further down within that sample, you can, but you won't go as far as the one at the very beginning with the drums, all right? So now I will just copy that over to this pad. And boom. Now it sounds like, well, that's wrong. Sometimes you got to pay attention to which pad is highlighted when you are copying and pasting something over. This is why I do it in track edit. So I need that pad to go over. So I'm going to go over here, and now I will do it. And now I got that chop. And if there's anything else over there, that's fine. Now that we have gathered enough intel on what we're going to do with the sample in terms of chopping, let's go ahead and finalize what we're going to do in terms of laying out the track. So there's a few things that I want to tighten up on this kit. Like, I don't want my snare and my kick to be right here, or at least the snare right here. So again, copy and paste, boom, boom. Now, normally you could just go into your sample and, you know, basically just pick it out. I just usually just do that because it's easier. But I'm going to go ahead and finalize some of the things that I want in terms of the mix. Like the hi-hats, they're a little too loud. So what I end up doing is simply just going into my touch strip, and then I just press and hold on the touch strip and go to pad levels. So I'll set the pad levels so that the hi-hats aren't screaming. Then I'll set the samples a little lower. You don't have to do it like this. It's just the way that I like to do it. We have one more thing to do. And well, a lot of people will say, well, why would you do this? Why would you put the pads like right here? And it's simple. I would like to chop it this way because the new MPCs are in 3.0, rather the OS. You can, well, of course, you can put in a filter right here, but then you have this right here. If you click on effect again, then you have access to these effects right here per pad. They're individually, they work on every pad or whatnot individually. That's what I meant to say. So we'll just go ahead and go through them and just press the pads, get a good gauge of what's going on. And then I'll just mess with this Q link right over here on the MPC Live 2 and 1 and all the other ones that don't have access to all of the Q links, like the flagship MPCs. You would have to go to page number 4 because these are the last 4 Q links. And I'll just high pass until I like it. Now that we got all the tedious stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and just have some fun and just play with this kit that we created. Last but not least, I know people are going to be like, well, how in the world would you save what you just did so you can recall it for later? Well, simple. Well, there's 2 ways to save. Of course, you know, for all the MPCs, you can always rely on hitting the menu button and then pressing save, and it'll give you these same options. But what I want all the people that, you know, own any MPC with a save button is to utilize it. So when you press save, you will get this exact same screen, so you don't have to go through all that menu diving. And right here, you'll see drum program. So once you click on that, Then you'll see that you can navigate to whatever drive that you have. And, I'm going to go to my SD card drive, and then I'll go to my MPC drum programs, which, by the way, drum programs never went anywhere. They still exist. You can just change the name. I just changed it to something very simple for me to remember. I just call it Philly Mcree. So Philly Mcree PM. So the BPM I would like to use anytime that I go and revisit would be 77 BPM, because that is what I'm going to do for Instagram, or just in case I want to build out the beat. If I don't build out the beat and I don't remember any of the information, oh, it was a C minor, so I can change that to a C minor. What I'll do is I just get in between this B and then just add a capital C, and then it has a lowercase m, and that will be that. After that, you just hit do it. You do it, then you'll hit save. Save it into the folder that you want. Everything is saved. You'll see that the name has changed on the screen. Let's get a little closer here so you can see it. And now you can see that it says Hip Hop Kit, Philly Mcree, C minor, 77 BPM. And that kind of answers two questions right there. One, how do you save anything that you have done in terms of your drum programs or whatnot? And also the fact that drum programs still exist, because I've seen people, they keep on saying that drum programs are gone. They're not gone. It used to be called Program Edit, and a lot of them wanted to say Program Edit again. I don't know what it is. I'm not trying to pick anything, but how do you feel about this video? I wanted to do this video a long time ago, but I think it's very important that I do it now, because yeah, there's something about to happen. And, a lot of people, the technique that will be used the majority of the time, or the definitive technique, because of the nature of it, it will basically utilize everything that we have done in this video. So let me know how you feel about this video, and let me know what you want to learn next.